Hello, everyone. This is Mr. Franz. I'm one of the English teachers at Lincoln Park Middle School. And when I was here this weekend, I thought that I wanted to make a review lesson. As you should know, if you're in sixth grade English and if you had access to things last week, the book that we're going to be reading is called Nothing But the Truth. It is by the author Avie, who does go by just that name, A-V-I, Avie. And you should have started it last week through chapter 8, and I wanted to do a review. One, it's good to review. Two, it is possible that some students didn't have access to maybe technology last week. They couldn't get on the book. Or there's just some kids maybe had a hard time. So I thought I would review the opening of the book again a little bit before we go on this week on Tuesday to the next part. So if we were at school, this would have been your cover, the one I'm circling over here, of what the book looks like. And you'll see later why some of that makes sense. But let's take a look right now. Okay, so who are our main characters in this book? And I focused on two of them because two characters really are the big ones. One is a boy named Phil Malloy. His full name is Philip Malloy. He is a ninth grade boy, so he is actually a few years older than you guys, and that means he's just started high school. He is smart. More than one teacher will describe him as smart. And if you read the book and you'll remember that he likes to run track specifically. I guess he has a dream to make the track team, perhaps to go to the Olympics, perhaps to get a scholarship one day. These are normal things for a kid to be thinking when they are in the early part of high school and they're thinking about what activities they want to do. So Philip is a pretty normal boy, and he's in ninth grade and he wants to run track and he's pretty smart. Now the other character that's really, really important, her name is Margaret Narwin. She's usually called Miss Narwin because she is a teacher. Okay? She really loves teaching. She really, really does. She writes in her diary, and in her letters, I should say, how much she likes teaching kids, and that kids today are just as smart as kids were a long time ago when she started, because she's been a teacher for quite a while. And she likes teaching. She likes kids, like I said, but she does feel a little bit out of touch. And what that means is that as she gets older, well, the students, ninth graders are always going to be 14 or 15, and she's getting older, and she doesn't feel like she knows them as well anymore. If you did read it, you'll remember she asked her principal for permission to go to a class that will teach her how to really, be a more modern teacher so that she can really connect with kids. She's a great teacher. You'll learn in the book that kids love her. She's one of the most popular teachers. She has great test scores from her students, I should say. Okay? So you have Phil. He likes track. You got Miss Narwin. She's a great teacher. A little bit out of touch, but she likes teaching. What conflicts do we have? And you'll remember that conflict is when there's like a battle or a fight between a couple of characters, or maybe it could be the character versus something else. But we'll look at what this book has for us, okay? Number one, Phil does not like Miss Narwin's class. I don't know why. We don't know why. Not really. He just doesn't. He makes jokes out loud. He interrupts her. He does not do the reading. They're reading a book called Call of the Wild, a famous book. He doesn't read it. He does not do the work, or when he does the work, he does a real bad job. He puts joke answers on his tests, like the dog represents a cat and the cat is this, and he puts a very ridiculous answer for his tests. Of course, his grade in English is going to be really bad. Really, really bad. And you can imagine how grades will affect his track opportunities. Over here, I put a picture. This is what I think Phil would look like in class. This is what his friend Allison might look like in class. His friend Allison, who I didn't talk about, really likes the book Call of the Wild. And, of course, she read everything, and she pays attention. In fact, you'll see that she does not like the way he interrupts. So you got Phil and you got Allison. I think he kind of likes Allison, but, she's really in English class, and he's not. What about Miss Narwin? She likes Phil. She writes letters where she says Phil's not a bad guy. But she thinks he's smart and jokes around. She wishes she wouldn't. She loves teaching English, but man, Phil, he's so difficult in class. Questions that we have at the end of chapter 8. 1. Will Phil be able to run track? Now, it seems like probably no. You know that grades affect doing sports, especially at the high school, which is where he's at. So, it feels like no. 2. How will Phil's behavior get worse? Hint, it will. He will do something that will be really important, and I won't get into it right now because you haven't read that part yet. 3. What is Miss Narwin going to do about Phil's behavior? You'll see. 4, and this you might not be thinking, but you will be thinking now that I say it. What will happen if Phil complains big time about Miss Narwin? He calls her Narwin. He just calls her by her last name like that. I don't like Narwin. Remember, we know the truth. We read Phil's diary. He just doesn't like her. We read Narwin's letters. She likes kids and teaching. And we hear private conversations they have in this book. So that's the basics. Phil wants to run track. He doesn't like English class. He makes jokes, and Miss Narwin doesn't really know what to do about that. If you understand that, you're able to keep going. So that's pretty much what we've been doing in class last week as we read the middle part of the week where we read the book. And this week, when we come to Tuesday, you'll be assigned the next section of the book. And I hope that you like it. I think that you will like it, and we'll get a chance to review it again and look at some other stuff through the week. Have a great week, guys. I hope everything is going well for you. Bye.